Hello and welcome to the We Speak Tangent podcast. I am Kat, one of your hosts.
I am James, one of your hosts.
And I'm Michael, one of your hosts.
This week we will be interviewing Michael because we've been getting to know each other better so that you can also learn about your hosts before we delve into the stories of others.
And we have to say at this point, Kat is ill. Kat has a cold.
I do, and you can probably hear that. I apologise, and also for any cuts necessary for coughing. But we can all talk. So
we have a producer. Good. We have a producer that is listening with
producer Amelia
and
will fit acceptably.
Yes, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
We're excited about interviewing you, Michael. Can you tell?
That makes one of us. Yeah. I'm not used to this at all.
Interesting. Pick your knowledge. See what you know.
Just to start off, what is your journey to sort of realising and or accepting your neurodivergence?
Journey to realising, so I've had this story verified because I don't remember. It sounds stupid, but I've always been me, so I haven't like kept like a check score of I've got this, that, and the other. But there was signs since I was 3 years old, and I was diagnosed properly at about 11 or 12 in Dumfries.
Okay.
I am now reliably informed I was the first person in D&G to go through the disco test.
Okay. So
which had nothing to do with music.
What's the disco test?
You make me try and remember it on the fly. Diagnostic interview for social and communicative.
Just make the last bit up.
Something that starts with O, yeah.
Cool.
And yes, and we knew about that. Yes, you can Google it and download it.
It was based on the work of Lorna Wing and Judy Gould. Judy being the person who diagnosed me, which you will know from last week.
Indeed.
That's your Easter egg of the day.
Yeah. I was 11 or 12, and I was and it was a spectrum when I was diagnosed. I didn't think it was until I sort of checked up on the story, and the story was it is a sliding scale. I think they have sort of neurotypical on one side and neurodiverse on the other. They have like a. I mean, you know, but it was I was off the scale in terms of the result of the test. So for each of the domains they call them, and it was then really have I embraced it or accepted it? I don't think I have, in the sense that yes, it makes up everything, sort of who I am and how I communicate and how I stim and what I do, which I'm sure we'll get into, but I haven't sort of embraced it fully. I don't sort of go into post offices and go, see me, no, it's not, which is a story that I've heard a lot. You know, we were sort of very private about it, but but that was it. That was sort of 11 or 12, and I was the first person, or one of the first people to take the test and be diagnosed, as it were. And it was I think it was a free to me test.
So I wonder, like, being in that room, did you, at 11 or 12, did you know why you were there? And was it something that you wanted to be taking part in?
I don't know if I know why I'm here now at 33.
That makes two.
So, no, I don't know. I don't remember a lot about the day itself, because my attitude to any form of test has been the same, which is night before and sort of learn, because that's where the adrenaline thing comes. If I prepare for something, I don't have that same level of awareness or on it. So, but no, I don't remember terribly much. But there was a lot of other medical things going on that are now, studies have shown that they're now linked.
Okay.
So there was we should have had the trigger warning actually before we could edit it back in. But sorry, producer, really, I'm giving you more work to do. I'm really sorry.
Pause.
Yeah. But no, there was other medical things going on, which there was eating disorders and all manner of different things. So yeah, and studies have now shown that it's all linked. So that was basically sort of my journey to. I took the test and then I was diagnosed again.
Right.
By Dr. Jason Westwater. I can name check him now, and that was in a sort of family planning or family therapy appointment.
Right.
And I'll skate around the point by saying that neurodiversity runs in the family, and there was 2 diagnoses for the price of 1.
Right.
And there was 3 of us in the room. But so that was how it came to be, because I think, and we've spoken about this socially in the sense that a diagnosis is the beginning; it's not the end.
Absolutely.
And the effect it could have on those around you can be positive. It can also be sort of life-changing, life-affirming, whatever. Not always positive. But it started for me, I remember the second diagnosis far more than the disco test, for example. So, and that was where my life changed. Because
What age were you then? Your second
I
diagnosis?
think it was around the same.
Okay.
I think it was sort of 11, 12. But I think even after taking the disco test, because it was new, I think my folks wanted to just make sure, which now, if you can't find a doctor that tells you what you want to hear, you just go to a different doctor. But there was trust there, but my parents just wanted to know that was what they were dealing with.
Yeah.
And a double down, and then that's where it all sort of changed, and it became, it happened in the same week. Like, my life changed because I was diagnosed officially, and then I went into a radio studio because I was diagnosed. The way it was framed was, we don't know what to do with Michael. We don't know what he does. We don't know how he communicates. We can't help him. We need to know why.
So, just out of interest, just to pick up on that point, so what, I guess I don't really like the term, but what presenting symptoms would somebody have seen, for example, in communication?
I guess I didn't, in the sense that, and it's like, I could go through what presents now, and it was pretty much the same then. So I only talk about things that I know enough about, and I don't know.
No, I get that.
I don't know a lot about sort of anything else. Just, but yeah, I can come across acerbic or rude or direct or whatever the case may be, and that's not presenting in, I don't know, a 10, 11-year-old.
I think we've probably all heard those terms.
Yeah,
100%. What I'm interested in is, probably so the listeners, is that as a 12-year-old, no, that's a special time for anybody's life. 12 is one of those pinnacle moments where, like, the lights are starting to come on. How, and I hope it's not too personal, how did you feel? I'm interested in hearing, like, how did that make you feel?
I can give you context.
Aye.
So I when I was diagnosed, I was in a unit. I was in a hospital. I was in, because I said other health things. I had, still have, but I have anorexia nervosa. So it was at the point where I wasn't eating and I wasn't communicating, and there was panic. And actually, there was a sort of light within the clouds because people actually figured out why. Not so much why I wasn't eating, but why I wasn't interested in many or any. I mean, on my wall at my bed at the unit wasn't like pin-ups. It was pictures of touring cars and drivers, and I knew a lot about that. And and then just one day I was taken to Radio Lollipop, to a radio studio, because a nurse figured out that I wasn't good at communicating with others, but maybe I might be good if I don't know who I'm communicating with, and I'm just vibing in front of a microphone. He was called Martin. We still haven't found him since, but he took me. He was wearing a brown leather jacket, and he took me to DCFP, to Radio Lollipop, and that was the start of, like I said, in the same week. I mean, there was a little bit extra there, so I really wasn't well, and I said, not that I'm the most faithful human being in terms of religion, but I said, look, I need to know if there's something for me to do, because I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to sort of cause grief to one's family, and if there's something for me to do, or if there's something it's just something that's clear. And within that week, I was diagnosed, and I was into a radio studio, and that was like, oh, thank goodness.
Because that's quite an interesting point about the emotional feedback of other people being what kind of disrupted your thought process by the sound of it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't make it easy for myself, because the folks that I was around, I didn't know about football, I didn't know about hair, makeup, I didn't know about anything. I didn't drink, you wouldn't at 11 or 12, but I didn't have any knowledge of anything outside of my goldfish bowl mind. Yeah. So it was, if he's talking about cars or music, great, but if he's talking about anything else, he's not interested.
Nice, well, thanks for your honesty. It's nice to hear a wee bit. So, brings us on to our next question.
Yep.
What stigma or other barriers have you encountered during your neurodivergency journey?
I'm not sure that I've encountered any barriers with my neurodivergent journey. I think there's been other things that I've encountered. So, listeners won't be able to see, but viewers will. I'm a man that's seated, and my seat has wheels. And I've encountered far more stigma for that than I ever have for any form of communication.
Yeah.
And I'm not the sort of condition that people are used to. And I say that in a very nice way. There's a certain level of call it disability, call it neurodivergence, call it difference that people are used to, and this isn't it.
Yeah, I think like anything, there's like a social kind of average that people will project until you contradict it. Yeah.
So, but I mean, I'm very lucky in the sense that I've always landed on my wheels, so to speak, in that I've always been able to. With minimal effort, I don't know how I've done it. I've just been in the room when somebody else has been in the room and said, I think they can do that. So it happened to a nurse with the radio, and then somebody said, when I had my hip operation, and I was seated full time, my mind was still active, and my neighbour said, why don't you go along to a meeting for a housing association, or just any of the 12, but the first one was Go along. You've got an opinion, and you drink coffee. Like, have fun.
There you go.
So that was how. But I think I framed it in the sense that I was like, look, I'm really sorry. I always apologise before I've done something wrong, because then the apology's floating in the room. But
Guilty.
no, the way I communicate is different. So I'm not interested in. Hello, how are you is nice, but I'm not interested in how's your holiday, how's the dog.
Yeah.
I can't bear that. That's just a waste of energy and time. I can try.
Yeah.
I can lie. But it's not terrible in the sense that when I was young, my mum sat me down with cue cards. It could be a lot worse. I could be a mute. There are people who are mutes. And that's perfectly acceptable and fine. But I don't think my mum was satisfied with me being a mute, because I was a mute for a few years.
Interesting. Yeah.
And my mum was like English literature student, and she was like, I haven't learned all of this not to pass it on. So she sat me down with cue cards, and it was something along the lines of like how to win friends and influence people. It was like, if somebody is sad, what do you see? How do they feel? So I always, in any room I'm in, I always have 3 or 4 standard questions that I ask before we get to why we're in the room.
Right.
So it'll never be, how are you? How's the dog? It'll be, how long have you been with the organisation? What's your skill set? Where can I fit in?
Straight to business questions.
Something that seeks relevant information.
So you get a bounce back.
Absolutely.
Totally get that.
Yes.
Anybody that I've been in meetings with will tell you, like, he doesn't do lunches, he doesn't do days on buses to look at houses. He literally turns up 5 minutes before we start in the shirt and the chair and the coffee, and then welcome along straight in. And then as soon as we finish, Michael goes. He doesn't stay for that lunch. He doesn't stay for the coffee. He doesn't want to know how.
Because you do chair quite a few of your boards.
Yeah, but that is mum. So, and we had this chat last night, and mum's okay with me saying this. So mum, before her journey, as it were, was chair of everything. She was the community leader and the person you would go to from everything for sort of WI, business and professional, gardening club, dog, people. Like, it was her. That's what she did. And she's passed that down to me, and it's nothing to do with status or position. It's the classic thing: if a job's worth doing, do it yourself, and you'll care about it a lot more if your name's attached to it. I'm on, but that's what I do with my time. But I mean, I'm looking to do other things with my time, and because I feel as if I've sort of went as far as I can in the sphere. A lot's been done, but I think for me it was a sort of safety thing. And as I say, that the barriers, people know how I communicate, which is nice. That's a lot nicer than going in a room with people that don't know.
It's nice to have a quality, work with what you've got, know what you've not got. It's not a quality everybody has, to be fair. So
I've been very lucky so far. But I mean, I'll just say the reason I'm involved in this is because it's a way back into broadcasting. But also, I have an idea that I'm working on. It's not just the sort of nice English speaky person on a microphone interviewing people. I'm one of the people. So that's the challenge, I think, for me. It's actually doing something. It's just doing something. You can be a gob on a stick and turn up to meetings and go, "Is that done?"
I think it's also back to the we need to be wanted and want to be needed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. We're here and we will be seen.
Yeah, it's the search for meaning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is
Very much
often what we're disenfranchised from.
Very much so. Have I answered that question?
Yeah.
I think
well,
you
you did
did,
go into a
yeah.
big conversation, but that's what it is.
Well, we haven't done like a
You
massive
circled
tangent.
back very nicely.
Yeah, we haven't done a massive tangent fest, so I thought I'd better get one in.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see if it makes the cut. But yeah, 100%.
So how does your neurodivergence enhance what you do at the moment and what you are looking to do? if you'd like to share.
Most people would answer this in a very positive way and go, well, I'm involved and it helps me. I'm not sure that it does, in the sense that communication's communication. If there's something to be said, I will say it. As you know, as everybody knows.
I think a lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah,
that's something that is impressive.
Well, I'm not sure. I have the reputation of saying something that people think, rather than thinking about it and then bottling it up and not saying it. That's my stim. That's what I do.
Well, it clearly works because I didn't even know you, and somebody randomly in Berwick who I became friends with, Davey, said, "Oh, you know that? I know that guy." And I was like, "Right." And then he started, and it was all good stuff.
But thankfully,
look where you are now.
Yeah, thankfully that was during the comedy years,
right?
And I will still. I would love to go back, but you talk about stigma. I mean, if you can find an accessible comedy club, I will play it. So yeah, and it was nothing to do. I was an okay comic. I did like 4 gigs a week, and I was on it, and everybody knew me. But if you want to get to a level in anything, you first have to figure out if you can get in the thing.
Yeah.
That goes back to I say what people think. That was what that was about. It was about hear me, like I am somebody, I can do something. But it was doing it in a safe way.
No, I love that. Yeah, it's that very boundaried kind of like,
absolutely.
I will share what's going on in my brain.
And my comedy was things that had happened in my life. I didn't write anything. I just turned up, like a meeting. I just turned up with a coffee and just, how long have I got? 15 minutes. Okay, great. Bang. And that was it. That was done. Next.
Awesome.
So it has it enhanced. Saying what people think is challenging. And I have tried. Trust me, folks. I have tried to sit on my hands and go, somebody will say it. Like, it doesn't always have to be me. Somebody, because it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's exhausting watching it, but it's also exhausting doing it. The defence is saying something funny, and because of the way, because of the way culture is at the moment, and this isn't my get the soapbox out, but everybody is very easily sort of, how could you say that? Well, I just did. So no, it swings and roundabouts, but neurodivergence makes up everything that I am, everything that I do, and I'm very, very lucky. But I still wouldn't say I've embraced it. I don't read up about it and go, oh, I got that. Oh, and that as well. Thank you.
Sometimes open up another wee.
No.
Aye, that.
See, I am a collector of facts.
No.
A wee bit. I've got that, but just when you're saying there, like the impulse stuff, and I was saying in my mind, I was like, don't say anything, don't say anything. And then you said funny, and I'm like, don't say anything funny, don't say anything funny. But that's how it is, and you know, this, like, I get that there is that small invisible don't say anything, but then you say it and then you go home and you're like, oh, maybe I should have said this and added on to it.
I think that's the thing though. So a lot of people will say things and then immediately feel something. Like, oh, I shouldn't have said, oh my God, what if that person feels? Couldn't care less. For me, it's about saying it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a friend, I absolutely will care how you feel because you will tell me. But I think there's
a great kind of
feeling
of social justice that you have.
Well, we try.
Michael the Vigilante.
We try.
I think that's why you say it. You know.
But my mum was the same. My dad is the same. It's genetics. But anyway, we went slightly over. I think. Fine. But yeah.
We shall be back with part 2.
Thanks, Michael. So welcome back to part 2, where we're interviewing Michael.
So could you just tell us a little bit more about what it is that you do and how you would like to grow and or change that?
So what I do now, aside from all the boards, I think it's something stupid like 12 or 13 or 14.
Wow.
And they're all lucky to have you.
Thank you.
True,
If I agreed with that, no. So because that started as a way to spend my time, and there was a moment not so long ago, and I also DJ as well. So I do.
The music encyclopedic knowledge is
I do.
something else.
I do nightclub DJing, which for somebody that doesn't drink or indeed likes people is a challenge. But my boss is very understanding because he's exactly the same.
Nice.
I DJ at the venue, and Saturday night was pretty fun. It was just play Taylor Swift. Do you know what? Hear anything else? No. It's a lot of that. But I do have an idea that I would like to do that's sort of based around renewables and community interest, and a way to hopefully fund some of the things that I have been doing, but obviously I would vacate those things to pursue the idea.
Yeah.
But for me, it's more a case of, I was having this chat with a dear friend yesterday. When I was growing up, we didn't know any neurodivergent entrepreneurs. Like, it didn't exist. Like
No.
your trajectory.
Certainly not openly.
No. Your trajectory was, and without sort of sweeping generalizations, like it wasn't, you didn't go into a camera shop and go, are you neurodivergent? Whereas now you just assume that they are. But who knows? You know? But no, so you didn't see any neurodivergent entrepreneurs. You didn't see anybody with a job.
Not a lot of neurodivergent success in general.
No.
Yeah.
So it was, we're going to be interviewing them this afternoon, but if we could just sort of wheel out the Rachel thing. Sorry Rachel, I won't refer to you as wheeling you out, but it was Kat that introduced me to Rachel and said, I have this friend and they run a bakery and you might want to talk to them. And I went, well, I know nothing about baking. Like, how dare you suggest such a thing? And no, speaking to Rachel about what they do, which you will find out, and the listener will find out a bit later, hopefully.
Tune in next week.
Yeah. Finding out that it's their story, but finding out they were doing what they were doing was it was night and day, because there was a lot of so you do, wow, okay, how how can I do that? So that was I think 4 or 5 months ago, and now it's been a sort of because I'd drawn up a business plan of a dream board or something I would like to do, as we all do. It's like writing letters to people you profoundly disagree with and then chucking them away. But which I'm not very good at. I just tell them. I wrote this thing and I showed it to you.
Yes, you did.
And you said, actually, it's a fairly good, okay. And it wasn't because I bought you a coffee. I was like, you sure? So that's basically, and it's just a case of formatting and trying to figure out how to do it, but actually having the opportunity to be in front of people that know more about the thing you're trying to do than you, and helping you do that thing, whatever it is powerful.
And I think just the power of sharing as well.
I've never been very good at sharing. This is my first sharing thing.
Yeah.
I've been a stand-up comic. I've been a radio broadcaster. I have not ever been. I've had
Live-ish on a podcast.
Yes, with other people. I was saying to my folks last night.
In conversation.
Yeah, I was saying to my folks last night. I was like, "This is against everything I know how to do." but there's something freeing about
Yeah.
doing
There is.
that.
There is.
Because you're surrendering to it, and you're also actually like it's not as terrible.
Yeah.
So
and I-
I'm going to jump in here,
Yeah.
because that's what I do. You know, the wheels are moving in my wee noodle head here, and I'm thinking, right, you've been very cryptic, Michael. That's great. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I want to know, as somebody who professes to be, and I was out in the wild until I also met Rachel with my neurodivergency, but I'm interested, as other people who are listening and watching, you know, you can't tell us all your secrets, but how do you cope with that? As somebody like, I'm doing it all by myself, and you clearly noted and said, you know, this is too much and too thing for you. So I'm interested in knowing, how do you do it?
Well, my life outside of what I do is completely different. I, if I can wheel out the cat thing of check your privilege, which is
I did say that.
one of the first things you said to me.
Not.
Check.
It was relevant to the conversation.
From the
that
car
happened.
that you drive to the just check. Not everybody has that. And I respect it, but I like the things I have. But that is because it's executive function. I don't have 3 calendars. I don't have 1 calendar. I have somebody that I have a team of people. It's self-directed support, who I'm also conveniently a trustee for. But that was how they came to be, because it was I cannot do things myself. Like I can't, and it's not in any way sort of chauvinistic-y. I cannot cook. Like it takes me, because of the way that I think about food, for example, it takes me far more energy to cook the thing. Is it cooked enough? And then eat it. And I'm getting nothing from it.
Yeah.
So I have a microwave, and I have a sort of corn on the cob stabber thing. And I can tell you about all the sort of microwave. But I also have a mic. Mike is conveniently my mum's partner. But he used to work at a ceiling tile roof place, and he stopped that to work for me. Weird, very nice family person, but he sort of went, Michael won't do well with a lot of people in his house. So he took the leap of faith, and so I said to you flippantly, but it's true. I have no idea where I am or why I'm here. It's because somebody said to me, "Well, you've got that thing today. It might be an idea. Like put the shirt on. Like it's time to go out and do stuff." I have a team of people that do everything that I'm not good at, not interested in, don't want to do. And yes, I appreciate everybody has to. But it is like it's a mitigating the risk thing.
Absolutely.
If I'm cleaning a dish, will it ever be clean enough? If I'm cooking something, will it ever be cooked enough?
Yeah.
And
I think when the executive function is low, all of those decisions are quite loaded
I don't
and
fill
exhausting.
up my own car, for example.
Yeah.
I find that very stressful. So thankfully now there's an app, but it used to be that I stick my disabled badge out the window and wait for somebody to just sort of doddery come out and how much would you like? So I don't do that. It just stresses me. I'm just like, no.
No, that makes sense.
So there's a lot of things throughout my day that are not done by me. So it means that I was going to say have the energy, but the older I get, that's getting a bit odd. So I have the energy to do what I'm good at.
Yeah.
You know, it's also nice to know there is people out there. That was
there
where
absolutely
I was
is.
thinking, you know, I get it, like when you were saying there, it's like when I go to the checkout, you know, putting stuff in a bag and people in there and it's beeping and not beeping in there, and then it's like, so it's nice that there is people out there that can help.
And I would be a fool if I said that there are people out there that can help and that are ready. Finding people is one of the biggest crises ever. But just on that point, my folks went on holiday last week, so I had to go into Tesco's or a shop and get my own thing, and it was I didn't
It's a lot,
do
isn't it?
well.
Yeah.
I was just, and it's that thing of just go in. It's that man thing of go in and don't get a basket because you're going in to get something, and then you realise that you've forgotten a crucial thing, so you've got to go back in. No, it's awful. I used to combat that by buying a birthday cake at 2 a.m. because the cashier would have to say to you, "Whose birthday is it?" And by the fifth week, I think they figured it out. It's like, how often can it be your birthday? But yeah, it's coping strategies.
Yeah.
And I mean, my diet's changed into actual food. But yeah, it's things that help me do what I can do. And that's my contribution. And I don't think technology, I mean, I have a dishwasher, for example, and that's not a person, that's a machine that I do. So cooking thing's the next big thing. Do we get a cook or do we not? Yeah. Is it just easier to pay somebody to make that, to make sure I've had a decent... So there's a lot of coping strategies, but help is out there. Finding help or finding people to do it is a challenge. It's the same as, people for a business. It's the same thing. Yeah. But yeah, I'm very lucky.
But to be fair, sitting listening, your story is somebody else's hope. How are other people?
I really hope not.
How are other? No, but in all honesty, it's like, how are other people going to know how to cope like that? Like, I've learned so much in the last few weeks just by sitting, come doing the podcast. Rachel, that's what I'm all about. That's what I want to know, that I found a tribe of people that we can come together and we can know stuff. And that's honesty.
But
just
please know, I respect the fact that you do it yourself.
Yeah. Well, no cooking, mind.
Well,
I got a microwave as well.
But like,
and I bought Nigel.
Yeah. But it's like Kat says, it's checking your privilege. Yeah. Not everybody has the opportunity to do that.
I think part of the joy of Neurodivergent interacting, though, is that there does seem to be a little bit more understanding that everyone will have differing needs and things they find difficult.
Yeah, sure.
We're different, but we are uniquely the same, and somebody else's.
Come by
one person's.
Sorry.
One person
with the heebie-jeebies. That's awful.
One person's.
You sang it.
I don't even know what I was going to say. I'm
all
time
different,
to try
but
and
we're
think.
all the same. Okay.
I just think that.
Welcome to successfully detangent the tangent.
No.
I thought I was doing well. I was on.
No,
track
my
there.
child, we're not all the same.
So, we're not the same.
That's another song.
But we do have the same coping strategies.
Yes.
It's like we can learn from them, is what I was saying. So
We've just gone into the scripting. This is not words.
Yeah.
So I'm going to cut everybody and do the next question,
Yeah, please
which
do.
is I don't know if I'll be able to. So, and I obviously it's scripted. So, what do you really value about being neurodivergent?
Well, that we're all different, but we're all uniquely the same.
Regurgitating.
I've always said it. I've always, like it's tug at the heartstring stuff. What do I really value about being there? It's given me. It's a nice answer. It's given me the opportunity to be me. Because in my family, it was very much, this is what you do, this is how you are, that's your path in life.
Right.
And for me, growing up in the Northeast, that was your thing. That was, you go to football on the Sunday and you go out on a Friday night and do that. And that just wasn't me. That just wasn't what I did. So it's given me the opportunity to be me, and I've also, I've had coping strategies. If I had access to 4 television channels, I think I wouldn't be in a glass room. I would be somewhere far more severe. Like I'd been brought up in a world where technology, music, lots of things to stimulate one's mind. Be it to watch or to learn or to... So it's that. If I was in a different time, I wouldn't have been able to be me authentically.
Yeah. I
so
think that would go for all of us, really.
Yeah. So no, it's given me that's what I value. It's that I don't question it anymore.
Yeah.
I think when you're growing up and you're newly diagnosed, you question it. I mean, well, modern people just put it into Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Am I neurodivergent enough today?
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
I'm like, I just don't. I am myself. And I know that I will, throughout the day, I will drink a decent coffee, I will say something remotely funny, and I will also have the ability to really rub somebody up the wrong way, which I don't want to do. But if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't be authentic.
Yeah, you'd be internalising
Yeah.
everything.
So it's
Which I think is where,
it's
you
the
know,
trade-off.
where I come in with the social justice
Yeah.
comment. I think because, you know, like you say, there's a lot of people that sit in meetings and will think it and not say it for whatever reason, whether it's, you know, they think it's someone else's job or they're just not, you know, confident enough. But there's that sense that, oh no, it has to be said to
And
make things better.
Just on that point, like I'm just checking the time, we're not going over.
It's fine, I'm on it.
It's fine. Good. That's one of us. That's good. Now, I think the thing with meetings is that I don't have a financial interest.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody's paying me to be quiet. And even if they did, it would have to be a lot of money. Because if I see something, I will point it out.
Yeah.
And that could be an event that I'm at, that could be in a meeting, that could be socially. If I'm on a plane and somebody doesn't have access to, I don't know, a seat belt or we'll do like anything, and I'm just like there.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody has the power to do that. Everybody does. And that's what I don't understand about life. It's nothing to do with I wish everybody was neurodivergent. I don't. I like my sort of little community of people that get me.
Yeah.
I don't wish everybody would have. I wish everybody would have an understanding of.
Yeah.
But I don't wish everybody was neurodivergent because then I wouldn't be different. There's something marvelous about being counterculture.
Yeah,
And
I think it
saying
gives you a
something.
unique kind of vision
Yeah.
of societal norms.
And
all
it is
that kind of stuff.
changing. I mean,
I am what I am.
Yes, we're all different. Thank the Lord, we're all different. But
And that's full circle.
Yes.
Opposite statement
no, I
in
know.
about 5 minutes.
But yeah, I know. But people are learning more about it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm involved in this particular thing because businesses are learning about it now.
Yes.
It's process. If you
Yeah,
know,
it's not
what
just
we
ticking a
can
box
do.
anymore.
No.
So
Yeah.
we have one disabled neurodivergent woman.
Yes.
There we go, done.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
It was, yeah.
Oh my God.
Still is. But I actually think I've got the 12 boards. No, it's not skill based. No. But no, well, it is. It is now that I'm
Yeah,
there.
it is.
But no, it's just different. But yeah, I embrace it and I value it. But everybody has the ability to say something.
Yeah.
That's the point.
That's a statement.
But not everybody does.
Yeah.
So it may as well be me, but I wish it wasn't because I want to sit across from the person, even if I profoundly disagree with everything they've said. It's that thing of just you have the ability to say.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what, you know, this is all about. It's
Yes.
about empowering other people to also,
To say,
you know, be their unique selves
this
and
hasn't
to
been
say
done
what
before.
needs to be said.
yeah.
This has not been done before. This
No.
neurodivergent business, that it has not been done before. Because people are like, we can do this too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's having that voice in it and being able to be out there living the experiences and telling people and having successful businesses as well, you know, that's
And let's say it quietly, making money.
well, I'll take myself out of that. Maybe one day, Michael.
You will.
You're getting there.
I'm all joking. But it's like,
No,
It's
you make
that-
a lot of money. You then
Yeah.
just like,
It's
give
the-
it to other
it's-
people.
that's
you
another
make a lot of joy. I want to make
Yeah.
a lot of
It's the,
You do make a lot of joy.
even thinking that with the money,
Yeah.
like being able to have money and distribute it and doing stuff. That's another
beautiful.
thing. It's like
Yeah.
no, I'm like, am I distributing it to the right people? It's like, you know, that neurodivergency, which brings me
yeah.
on to my tangent in my mind. I was wanting to ask,
Yeah.
and so I was nervously laughing. You know, has anybody ever taken advantage of neurodivergence? I know it's not a question on the sheet, but you know, I've had
It's fine. You can tangent.
past tense.
That's
I've
the
had
thing.
people take advantage, and still to the day, I'm not shy at admitting it.
Yeah,
you know,
same.
of the neurodivergency, and you know, that's why.
frequently.
Aye.
Because people don't but this is the same point in the sense that we all have the power to say it. We all have the power to educate ourselves about somebody else. The information's there. You don't have to go to a library. But it's like, just be a good person.
Yeah.
And what happens to good people is they get taken advantage of by people that think they want the best.
Yeah.
And then it happens. So being neurodivergent hasn't really helped friendships or relationships or up until now probably business things. There's also a value thing there of why am I doing all of the third sector voluntary stuff?
Yep.
Which has been pointed out to me frequently, but I'm only starting to listen to it now, which is probably another sort of tangent as to why. But I think for some of us, it's just the act of doing something.
Is there a layer of like, actually, I could do more?
There is now.
Yeah.
There wasn't then. That was, it, as I said, it was, you didn't see folks like me win. I'll use the term. Life is about living, and yes, it's about taking part, but nobody remembers the guy that came second.
Well,
nobody remembers.
Yeah, you see, I
It's
had...
that Jerry Seinfeld
That showstopper, that one.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Yeah, you see, I was
but-
a horsey girl, so we had... Nobody remembers who got the red one or the pink one.
Well, I just don't remember anyway.
I came
But-
last, so I was like, I'm out.
I didn't.
Sometimes we didn't get a rosette at all.
Yeah.
But it's a taking part, remember? Let's not forget. That's what you're
It's all
told
about
for.
being better than you were last
Aye.
time.
But still, like, when you're saying that, it's like, and I'm not joking when I say I came last in sports and all that stuff.
me
But you know,
too.
that
Same.
bit in your mind, you as a neurodivergent, I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but it was like I've already won it in my mind, but then to be told, no, that guy won it first. You
But
know,
no,
like
but-
in your mind.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I did that really well. It's like,
Aye,
yeah, but not as
well,
well as everyone else.
Yes,
It's the difference. It's the difference thing. I only
Yeah.
care about winning at things I'm good at.
yeah.
It goes back to what I said.
also have
Yeah.
that where it's like,
Yeah.
if I don't think I can succeed, I won't
Why
try.
turn up? Yeah. So this is what this whole process is.
Yeah.
Actually, it's confronting myself and going. Actually, if I want to get there,
Do
you have to
so.
assemble the team and then see if it's possible.
Yeah.
Just like this, it's like
Exactly.
Very
assemble
much
the
so.
tribe, and then here we are.
So yeah.
Your vibe follows your tribe, and your tribe follows your vibe.
Yes, indeed, it does. And I yes, but I
That was
do-
just a direct quote, and I
Yes.
love it. But anyway,
I'm not sure if I'm neurodivergent now or just a grumpy old man at 33, but I'll take either. It's fine.
So, are there any other hacks that you use in your daily life that help you to manage your neurodivergence?
Share them all. We want to know.
It's technology. It's
What's your favourite technology?
all of it. I mean, I'm not.
Sound like a true geek. I also like all of the gadgets.
Yes. But that has pitfalls as well. So that goes back to executive function, which is I'm just like, I don't care how I afford it. I don't care what happens.
If it makes it better, I will have it.
Yeah, somebody else controls my finance. At the moment, I am learning about it. I'm learning to budget and spreadsheet, and I'm coming down in range from what I eat to what other folks eat. Because it's food. Like, no, it's not, but it's cheaper. So it's. But no, all the tech. Like if I see something and I'm just like, oh, that'll be that.
That'll be helpful.
But I don't buy like tat. I don't just. I'm not like a looks nice person. I need to know if it works.
Yes.
So I mean, I'm not wearing my watch today, but I got my watch just so I drink coffee. It's my only thing. I don't drink or smoke. But
Do you have an espresso machine?
No.
Not yet.
But not yet. No, we were at Prima Galloway yesterday, and I was like, imagine being in an ice cream parlour and going, why did you buy your coffee machine?
If George Clooney on Nespresso's listening, we wouldn't mind a wee Nespresso.
No, we wouldn't. But the only reason I bought my watch is just so that I can say to the people at the coffee place, like, it's on the point card on the watch. Do the James Bond thing. That's
nice.
the only reason. Nothing to do with active, nothing to do with roll girl. And I'm still paying for the watch. So but that's moderation and that's learning. But yeah, I'm sitting with a stim toy that Kat has introduced me to, because that wasn't music. It's probably the biggest thing to get through the day is some form of music, podcast, audiobook, something. Not a fan of noise cancelling headphones. I'm a fan of listening to music through headphones. And yeah, there's lots of different things, but having people in post to do something, having music, having tech, and being able to... I'm not a meditator yet, so I don't switch off.
We're getting there.
It's just things, I know. It's just things to keep me going until I have to sleep, and then we do it all again. So.
All right, so we're trying new things as well, and that's the whole point. Meditation.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Cat will lead the way, and we shall follow.
We're learning as a group. No, I guess just, I'm also very audial and random tangent, but I just wondered if you remember how music felt and when you sort of realised that it helped you to deal with life.
That's a long-winded thing, but yeah, that was the link to my dad, because both my parents were music people, and my dad was the guy that sat with the old iPod as it was and got all the CDs and all the files on, and it was in like letter format.
Lovely.
And it was the ultimate stim for Dad. Dad was like, "Here's an iPod, son. Like, have at it." And yeah, it just helps, because I'm not very good at listening to the noise that life brings. If I have some form of music, and it could be all different types of music, rolling out sort of the stuff I listen to at home is completely different from the stuff I'm paid to play. It could be completely different, but it's the idea of having something that you want to listen to. It's a lot easier, and you're already winning because it's something you want to listen to, rather
and you know what to expect as well.
The dopamine rush on it.
Very much so.
So we'll maybe even pick that back up in the next part. If that's
All right.
Time. So thank you very much, Michael.
Thank
we'll
you.
pick that bit back up. So we'll see you after the short
Thank
break.
you very much. Welcome back to part 3 of the We Speak Tangent podcast, where we are talking to Michael about music.
Yeah. So we were talking about what I need to get through the day.
Yes. Is there a particular genre that you listen to in the house?
I'm going through like a sort of yacht rock phase at the moment. It's awful. But yeah, I think, it's terrible. Because so music for me started with opera. Like I was let's listen to something that nobody can talk about thing. So yeah, my first, I used to sing a little bit, and
Nice.
it was like Mario Lanza, Maria Callas, like all those people. And then somewhere along the line, my parents were neuromantics. So neuromanticism is basically where you don't eat, you still wear the shoulder pads, and it's 4 on the floor. So it's your Spandau Ballet, and
Nice.
Dad was into Japan and Prefab Sprout and all those things. So when Dad actually...
Love it.
it's pointless. Like nobody knows about this. So when Dad was doing like the iPod thing or the MP3 player, he started off with the MP3 player that was big, and then it got smaller as time went on. And Dad was like, "Where am I going to put all these music?" But he did.
I know.
It was all, as I say, it was all listed perfectly and in like genres.
That's beautiful.
And
as someone who also organises CDs that way.
I mean, but the point is now you listen to things and it's like AI, virtual DJ. Like, have you tried this? My
I force it to let me listen by album.
on my Green Circle music provider. It thinks I'm like
Other providers
70.
are available.
It thinks I am 70. It's have you tried listening?
The AI has
Yes,
just tagged
Your
you.
pipe and slippers are waiting, sir, and your music will be played.
Have you been listening to Matt Monroe recently? Have you tried Tony Bennett? No, it's weird. So
Would you like to try Radio 3?
Yes. I mean, but my voice is a complete fabrication. It's just listening to Radio 4 dramas.
Yeah.
So yeah, that and DJing and actually trying to look somebody in the eye without going, your music taste is appalling. Like, you need help. I got asked to play any Swifties out there. I got asked to play. Is it all like The Time Is Now or All Is Now? It's a 10-minute.
Oh, Atomic
thing.
Kitten.
No. Taylor Swift.
No.
But
Taylor Swift.
it's a 10-minute piece, and they said, "Could you play that?" I'm like, no. Why?
If Taylor Swift is listening, we also
Sorry,
apologise.
Taylor. You're very beautiful and quite leggy.
But
But
if it's not your thing, 10 minutes isn't very
That's
long.
a long
that's a long time. So no,
Maybe you should try some opera in between there. Let's try that out.
But yeah,
Got me a bit of Steel Ice Band.
yeah. But it's everything, and I wouldn't be able to play for 5-6 hours at a time if I didn't know the music I'm into, and then actually bringing it into what other folks listen to.
Did you play Taylor Swift for them?
Yeah, you have to. I just read a book, do a crossword or something. I don't need to be engaged with this bit. But I mean, we had at the venue a couple of weeks ago, we had Franz Ferdinand, and I was like, great, I've heard of them, and I've met Alex, he's a nice guy. And we had it synced so that people can listen to it upstairs, and all these young people came up. They're like, "What's that?" And I was,
Oh no.
my heart died. It was awful, but it was a busy gig. But no, but that's the
very
cheat.
cool.
It's that and it's coffee. It's those are the two things that. And the coffee thing happened by an accident because you start on instant coffee. And then I was pretty much done with that when I was 11. I was like, that's not going to help me at all.
Yeah.
And then my folks had German friends that introduced me to
Yes.
actual keep you up for 4 days coffee.
Yeah.
And that isn't like it was an actual coffee. It wasn't other things. Just put it out there. And then as soon as sort of drive-through coffee happened, I was like, right. We don't have to communicate with folks. I can just drink coffee in my car. Bob Monkhouse had a thing where he used to go on with whiskey.
Yeah.
And he used to say, I never go on alone.
Yeah.
So I never go into a room alone. I always have some form of either a coffee in the car or coffee at it. So,
I had a wee periodic table of coffees there as you were talking.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Michael's
As
periodic
a chemist who loves coffee, that
Give it
is
a
like
instant-
right on the button.
so that's your cheat. That is essentially it's some form of caffeine, be it coffee or tea, and just what you're good at. Find what it is that you can do really well, and then study it. I was very lucky to find what I could do completely by accident, by happenstance. A nurse walked me into a radio studio, and my dad gave me an MP3 player. That wasn't me going, what can I be good at? That was
So just to circle all the way background, just curious.
Yeah.
So when you came into that room, were you excited? Did you understand that what you were going to be given to do, or was it just like quite unknown?
It's like people that teach young kids to swim. You just
Is
chuck
this the
them
throwing in method? Yeah.
You just chuck them in and see how they do. And
You lose a couple years.
you win some.
Some of them just listen to opera for a
Yes.
and don't talk about it.
But but that's exactly what it was. It was, we're going to have a chat, and it was when Harry Potter came out, and I was a very thin guy that looked like Harry Potter. Like, it all happened. That was the radio gimmick. That was what we went with.
No Potter.
Very much so. Like, they're all still on my friend list, and they all still call me Harry Potter. So it's weird. If you have a gimmick or something you can do well,
fair.
find out what that is.
No, I certainly, I find it a lot easier to do. Like, I did drama, and everyone was like, how can you do that? I'm like, well, it's not me. I'm not presenting myself.
So I didn't mention that. So when I went to so as well as, I mean, D&G have been very good to me, Dumfries and Galway. I was the first person with the disco test. and then they sent me to a school for educationally fragile folks, which is a very polite way of saying he won't get on well here. So they had a drama department. It's true. On you go. So it's a very polite way of saying he won't get on well here. So they put the money up, and it was 40 of us on a mountaintop, and they had in Dunkeld. It's closed now for different reasons. But they had a drama department, and it was, let's find out what he can do, because he's not very good at maths. He can speak a bit, but his function isn't great. Let's see what he can do. So that drama, it was, okay, give him something to say, and then put it 5 ways.
Yeah.
And then tell him how to say it, because, even when I was 13, 14, I sounded 50. So, I was very lucky. Angela was like, this is what he can do. That just present, perform, do something, be in that room.
It's like listening to is like, just piecing with the fast brain I've got there. I might be laughing, but I'm also like moving. Like sounds like everything is led up, because for myself this is where it's like everything's led up to now. It's everything you've done that you've just rhymed off there has led up to sitting in front of this microphone and speaking, telling your story to the world.
But that's the cheat sheet, which is just essentially find something you can do really well and just do that. Like everything else, and it's probably not the right thing to say, because you should learn how to do everything yourself to be independent.
No. Utilise everything you've got in front of you.
Find something you can do really well, and if the cards fall correctly, other people will be able to help you, and or do things to aid your life, the things that you are unable to do.
And it's important as well, like
for money.
You might not know that you do it, but you give away freely what you do,
Absolutely.
in the form of music, in the form of your words here, in the form of empty listening. You give it away, man. That's how us guys learn from each other, and sort of the people who have yet to find what they want to do. So thanks very much, Michael.
Yeah, and I think everybody's, everyone's uniqueness and the way that they interact and interlink with other people and what they can do.
We are useful. Special. We are purposeful. We have a mission,
Absolutely,
and this is what's unfolding. So
and you can find out what you can do well, but that you might not be on the mission. That's 2 separate things.
Yeah, side mission.
Okay, so thank you for everything that you've shared today.
Thanks, Michael.
It's been really insightful.
Hopefully.
Yeah, yes. I think so. So that just leaves us with your decision on the Frangipane Bake of the Week.
See, I've already forgotten what it was. I only had it like an hour ago. There was a chocolate one that I'm particularly...
I do believe it's dark chocolate and cherry today.
Yes. So it's that one. So but it just, yes. That is another cheat, actually. So that's sugar, caffeine, and music. Yeah. But chocolate. That also, one is, 100%. But that's my favourite one.
Fantastic. Yes, me too.
And Rachel has also promised that Rachel will get me baking. I don't know if that'll happen, but we might film there.
It will happen, and we will film it.
This is something that Michael swore blind he would never do, and is now doing. So
that'd be good.
Everything you've ever done will be taking you to that moment.
I know.
And here is Michael's mini-series.
Michael,
it's like Nigella, but with Michael.
Michaelella.
And what do you do here? Chicken? Yeah.
Chicken and chocolate cake.
Yes.
Exactly.
So thank you very much, Michael. It's been really, really interesting, and I'm sure everybody has got a lot for you. You don't give yourself enough credit, so we'll give you the credit for you. It's been fantastic to get to know you. We've only just, I imagine, started to get inside your mind, so be interesting to get as we go forward to hear the rest of it.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for listening to the We Speak Tangent podcast and watching. We are hosted by Sosie in their beautiful building in Hoyk, and we will be back next week.
Yes, indeed. So if I could, I'll just end my own thing by going, thank you for joining us on Wheatley Tangent, which is brought to you by the Neurodivergent Entrepreneurs Network.
Yes, it is.
And we've thanked the Frangipane Bakery for the cake of the
have.
week. So
We are recording next week this week, so I will be also ill.
Yes. So this podcast.
But I'll tell you that next time as well.
Yeah, this podcast will be available in sign language, Makaton, anything. So we've got one more
And
to
also
do.
Linux.
Yes, indeed. So just we're as accessible as we can be. But no, next week we are interviewing the owner proprietor of the Frangipane. So I don't know what their cake of the week will be.
That will be an interesting question.
But yeah, I will be not in the hot seat, so I will feel better. But thank you very much indeed for getting into my mind.
Thanks,
and thank you if you've made it to the end of this podcast.
This is like the Lord of the Rings. We've
One
ended
of
it
us-
at least 3 times.
One of us needs serious help. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week.